Hi guys! I decided to open up this YouTube channel a little bit, and it's not only going to be vlogs from now on, but all kinds of other videos as well. So this one specifically is my very first podcast. I'm quite excited because I was procrastinating, and then I found out that it was International Podcast Day, and I thought, okay, now I can't procrastinate, I have to do it. So I did record it. The topic is minimalist life, which is what I'm living now for a while. So without further ado, this is audio only for now. I hope to do video podcasts in the future. Without further ado, enjoy this audio recording of my new Nice and Sunny podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Nice and Sunny, the podcast. Some of you might think now, well, what else, Christine? Like, you do all the other stuff already. Do you have to jump onto that bandwagon as well? And the answer is yes. So, for those of you that know me already, this is just another way to get in touch and see what I'm doing and listen to my babbling and my stories. When it comes to video blogs, Facebook, social media, Instagram, I'm everywhere, and it's fine. I love it. I will quickly, for those of you that do not know who I am, quickly give you an overview of what I do, where I come from and all that. So my name is Christin. I was born in Germany. I left in 2005 with a backpack to travel around the world. It sort of worked for a bit, and then I got sidetracked. I will tell you more about all of this in detail in this and in the following podcast. But basically, at the moment, I am situated in Dublin, Ireland, and currently, though, for just a couple of weeks, I am in the Isle of Man, a tiny little island between England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, right bang on in the middle. It's an interesting little place. I actually lived here for 6 years before, and now I'm just here for a month before my travels continue. I am a nomad, basically. I do not have a fixed place where I'm staying. I am in Ireland, so that's where my base is, because unfortunately you need a base somewhere. So that's my base. But otherwise I am staying in different places all the time, traveling a lot for work and personal purposes. So that's why I can actually have this nomad life. But in order to actually live it in this way, you have to make sure you don't own too many things. So I'm also a minimalist. So hence why I thought the first episode of my podcast should be about this life, the minimalist lifestyle. Because this is something I can actually talk about, because I have done this now for the second time in my life. That reduced my belongings to an absolute minimum. I have to admit, this second time around, I'm not 100% there yet. I have 3 bags of stuff, so it's not the absolute minimum. I'm still working on it. But like the very first time I did it in 2005, when I left Germany with a backpack, everything I owned was in that backpack. I don't think I want to go back all the way to that this time around, but as close as possible, really. So I thought it would be a good topic to start with and tell you guys how you can do this too if you want to, if you choose to, because quite often I actually do get the questions, how can you do this? This is so difficult. How can you get rid of all your stuff? How do you decide what to get rid of? And all these kind of questions. So I will actually put it on social media and put this question if somebody had any questions or stories or something about this topic, so that I can answer them here. And 2 questions came in. I will actually read them before, because I think I'm going to answer them anyway in some way or another in this podcast. But yeah, so before we start, first of all, I was about to procrastinate once again with recording this, but then today when I woke up, I found out that because it's the 30th of September I'm recording this, that today is actually International Podcast Day. So I decided I have to record it. I don't know when I'll actually get it out and published and all that stuff, because this is something I still need to figure out. But I decided to make the recording today on International Podcast Day. I think this is a sign, right? So I have to do this. And by the way, I'm hoping that at later stages of this, not during this podcast today, this is going to be a solo one, but in the future that I will have guests, obviously, that hopefully have something interesting to contribute, not necessarily to the minimalist topic, but any other topic, right? And I throw out there very quickly that there is a big trip coming up for me, a big travel. I'm actually going to work part-time for 3 months while traveling once around the globe. Again, I will tell you more about that at a later point. This journey starts end of December, and it will take me literally once around the world. So I bought a round the world ticket, and it's a dream come true, because that's what I wanted to do in 2005 when I left Germany, and I just somehow couldn't get it done. I basically made it to England, then to Ireland, and then I was stuck in the Isle of Man for 6 years. And now I feel like I really have to get back on track and get around the world at least once before life just goes on. You know, I'm turning 40 in March. That's actually my big grand finale to the end of this round the world trip. I'm going to be in Vegas celebrating my 40th birthday. But there's so much to tell about this thing that I will push it to some other podcast in the future. There's still a couple of months to go before I go on that journey. So this one, I want to focus on the minimalist lifestyle. And as I said already, you know, what qualifies me to talk about this is because I've done it once all the way, and now I'm almost there to have it done a second time. Just quickly give a little bit of background there as well. As I said, when I left Germany, I had a backpack. I had sold things on eBay. I've given things away to friends. I put things in like the local ads. I don't know how you call that. Classified ads, you know. And whatever was left in the end when I had my leaving party, I did a raffle where everybody could buy a ticket for €1, and so I could get rid of all the things that were left that I couldn't get rid of, and it actually made me €300, which was a lot of money and very valuable when you go on a big trip, what I thought would be around the world, right? And then the second time, so basically things then just somehow went wrong. You know, I mean, I don't want to say it went wrong, because life is just what it is, right? It goes in all kinds of directions. It didn't go wrong in that sense. It just, I was sidetracked, let's say. So when I actually then got this job in the Isle of Man in order to get this here, I went back to Germany for 2 years. And in Germany, it's very uncommon that you have furnished apartments. So I had to buy furniture to furnish my apartment, and I had a job as a PR and marketing manager, so I had a lot of public-facing roles, and also working in casinos with a lot of officials having to do with people in suits. So I had to dress better, and that's obvious. It is a big topic, especially for women. If you make a decision like that, and if you only have a few things, it's not very easy to dress well and make a professional impression. So that is a problem, and it was a problem back then. So I did buy a lot of new clothes in order to fit my new role. So I started buying all these things, like clothes, furniture, and all the stuff that you need to live, let's say, a normal life, or a standard life, however you want to call it. And it was obviously tough. It was actually something that caused quite a nervous breakdown for me, because suddenly I looked around as I bought all this stuff and had the feeling of it weighing me back down. So I sat there and felt I can't move anymore now. It was really a moment of panic, because when I had the backpack, it was the most liberating feeling in the world, knowing everything I own is with me right now, like literally on my body. It's right here, and if I want to go anywhere, I can just go. You know, there's nothing. I don't have to think about packing stuff, moving stuff. I can just go. And knowing that was super valuable, and it made me honestly very, very happy. It was probably one of the happiest times of my life. You know, I didn't earn much at the time, so that was obviously a bit of a damper to the situation. But knowing I was free was the best. And then suddenly having the situation that I bought all this stuff again, weighing me down, and basically losing my freedom, caused quite some panic. But what back then helped me over it was that I then actually got that job and could come to the Isle of Man. So I was working very hard to get here. So I got here. And then the problem was that I continued buying things because there wasn't much else to do. I started just buying stuff. So I bought more and more clothes, more and more stuff for the apartment. And again, the same thing happened. At some point, I just looked and I was like, what have I done? I even had a car and a bike and all these things. And I was like, what have I done? This was never the plan. So I had to make a decision. And what I did then here in the Isle of Man, so that was 2000. So I moved here in 2010 and I left in 2016. So I did the same thing. I started getting rid of everything. I had a big party where people could, through a poker game, actually could win all the rest of the stuff that I had left. And in the end, and I donated bags and bags of clothes. I don't even know how I could get that much stuff together. I donated all that stuff, and then I had this party, got rid of all the stuff. Again, made about £300 and like 100-something pounds for charity as well. And then put everything that was left into my car, moved over to Ireland, brought the car back to the Isle of Man, sold it here, went back to Ireland, and since then I'm just working on reducing. So it's like about 2 years that I'm reducing my stuff even more, and it's about 1 year now that I'm a nomad without a fixed place where I live. So a bit longer background, but this is probably explaining a bit why I feel like I can talk about the topic minimal life or minimal lifestyle, because I've done this now for the second time, and I'm on a good track to be really, really light the second time around. So what I have at the moment is one massive suitcase with most of the stuff in it. Then I have a backpack in preparation for my big journey around the world in December. And then I have a little hand luggage bag, little suitcase basically, and that's it. So all the stuff fits into that. While I'm here in the Isle of Man, before I continue moving back to Ireland basically, I want to try and reduce it to 2 bags. I want to get rid of the little handbag sized luggage and only leave basically with the big suitcase and my backpack. So that's the goal while I'm staying here. But it is getting difficult now, and this is a bit what I'm going to get into. There is going to be a point when it's getting tougher. It's getting tough to get rid of things. So I understand that a lot of people start with this process, feel this same kind of resistance to getting rid of stuff right in the beginning. And you have to break through that and try and reason with yourself in a way. So it is quite an interesting process, and I will try and talk you through a little bit of some do's and don'ts and give you some advice and how you could do it if you want to do it too, if you choose to do it as well. So because the thing is, obviously it completely completely depends on your personal situation, right? So let's say if you're a couple and you have children, or you're just having a baby or something, you obviously need more stuff, right? There's just no way around it. You will need more space and you will need more stuff, right? Question is this a situation where you have an opportunity maybe not to move into a bigger place, but maybe just get rid of stuff and make space that way for whatever is coming? If it's a child, let's say it's a child, you need another room, you need more stuff, more space. Really logically think about it. Does it actually really mean you have to move out of the apartment and into a house, or can you just simply make space? And making space is then the task of trying to declutter and really get rid of things and really be logical about it. So it completely depends on your personal situation. Like when I wanted to leave Germany and travel the world, I wanted to be mobile, I wanted to be flexible, so everything I owned had to fit into that backpack, right? So I created a need to fit everything into that backpack, and so I did. I just managed to get rid of everything into the smallest detail so that it does fit into this backpack. And right now, as I said, I have to get to a space where I have one bag that I want to store somewhere that includes, the winter clothes or the summer clothes, depending on when I want to store it, and whatever else I need to put in there. But that's it. Everything else that I need on a day-to-day basis should be with me then in a backpack. That is what I'm trying to aim for. But that is my personal situation, right? So not everybody is like that. So let's, before we dig in, the 2 questions that I got, one was on Facebook from Clara, and she said, how did you downsize to that little stuff? I'm getting rid of stuff now. It's so hard. And I actually do know that Clara just moved into a van. I think that's how I understood it from Facebook, which is amazing. It's the dream, basically. But considering that, just although this is not part of the question, considering that everything you own has to fit in a van, that is a lot of space. A van has a lot of space. So it really should not be a problem reducing whatever one person owns into the space of a van. Even two people could comfortably live in a van and have everything that they need. It all depends on how you organize it, right? So I'll get a bit more into detail about that later, but it really is coming down to just rationalizing every single decision. I mean, it sounds easy, just rationalize everything, but yeah, it is coming down to that, basically. One more question came in on Twitter from Donna Morton, saying, how do you choose what to take and what to wear, as the climates differ immensely and weather can change in a heartbeat? So I'm not 100% sure if this is directly about my world travel coming up, or if it's just in general. And I know, I'm not sure where Donna lives, but living on obviously the British Isles, let's say, yes, weather changes so fast, you constantly need everything. So as always, the answer is probably layers. Just have enough stuff on you that you can just change. But as I said, in the end, think about what you actually need. It's like, I will keep one winter jacket and some winter boots, and they are stored, right? So when I come back from my travels, which is mainly going to be warm climate, it will be there. So it's one bag. So it's not actually a big decision to say how many winter clothes you actually need, right? So it's just think about it. Like, how much do you actually need? So for example, I can actually give you a quick example there. I made the mistake and bought a second winter coat. And I bought one that is a bit nicer than the one that I'm using, which is just mainly practical. So I bought this nicer coat and wore it, I think, once or twice, and realized it's not fully waterproof. And I live in Ireland, so if it rains, you get wet, right? So if it's not fully waterproof, the thing doesn't make sense. So I stopped wearing it and went back to my practical one. And now I have this expensive, it was 120 euros, an expensive, nicer winter coat, and I'm not actually using it. So what do I do? What do you do? So do you feel like, okay, you have to hang on to it because you paid all this money for it now, so you will keep it although you're not wearing it? That doesn't make sense, right? So if you apply a bit of rational thinking there, you say, okay, I made a mistake. I made an investment into something that I don't actually need. So I should now try and maybe reduce the losses and get some money back for it, or donate it. So it's a bit of the thinking. Again, this also depends obviously on your financial situation and all that, but just consider. Give it a bit of a comparison. Like, so for myself personally, I often compare it with when I play poker. Like, if I play a poker tournament and it costs 100 euros, that's money that I usually consider gone. Because I'm not a professional poker player. I like to play for fun, and if I put 100 euros down, I consider it gone. If I then win, fine. If not, fine. I had fun, right? So now the thing is having comparing this coat with a poker tournament. I go I'm so easily normally in my life spending 100 euros on a poker tournament. Why am I making such a big deal about this jacket now, this coat? It was also 100 euros. So just consider it gone. And this is again, this is something you have to work on your own appreciation of things and owning things and so on. And this is obviously the difficult part of it, but hopefully by the end of this podcast you have a bit more of an idea how you can get there. So basically the decision now for me was I have to get rid of the coat. Thinking about selling it will show me, okay, I might get 20 euros for it if I'm lucky, and then I think, is it really worth that? Is it worth it for me, the time that I invest to try and sell this for 20 euros? Or should I just go and donate and consider the 100 euro gone, and at least I've done something for a good cause? So the decision is, I'm donating it. And that's how you can ration with rationalize with every single item that you have in front of you, right? So is it something you really need? And then you go through the process of, okay, if you decide you do not actually need it, then you go through all the questions. Can I give it to a friend? Can I sell it? Can I donate it? Is it crap and I could just throw it away? Every single item, go through this process. But I give you a little bit of an idea of how you can get this started. And also, one thing, try and remember that you are pretty much stuck in this rat race, right? So society tells you to do things, to expand, to get bigger, better, more. But is it really that? Is it that you want? So this is, again, something that I constantly ask myself. I mean, I'm still like a punk girl at heart. I was a little punk girl once. And it's like, I do not feel like that. I don't have this urge of having bigger, better, more. It doesn't exist in my system. But I understand completely how it's difficult for people to create this kind of thinking, because it's just how we're raised, right? It's just how society molds us, saying you have to finish school, you have to get your education, you have to get a job, you have to get more money, you have to get more money, you have to get more money, you have to find a partner, you have to build a house, you have to have children, you have to have a bigger house, you have to get more money. So it's a constant race to add and add and add and add. If you manage mentally to break out of that, that is the biggest step that you can do to achieve happiness, basically. I mean, this was some good advice, I think, but I'm not 100% sure how easy it is for people to get there. I am actually trying to figure out right now what this app was called that I used to create a habit, but there are a few different ones. So one thing, how you can just get this started, your minimalist lifestyle, if you want to get there, or just simply to tidy up and declutter as much as you can, is to just start. Get started. There's this mountain of stuff in front of you. Just pick up the first thing and go through the process and try and think about if you actually need it. So it's all about just starting. We talked about creating a need, so that's obviously important. If you don't have the need to declutter, it might simply be just tidying up. Just move things, get some nice organizer boxes and put things neatly into boxes. That's already a good start as well. And then maybe while you do that, you already find that you want to get rid of a few things, right? So that can happen. But if you actually do want to properly declutter and minimalize your life, then I suggest you basically do a physical defragmentation. So this is again one of these things. I am not sure how many of you remember the days when you had to defragment your computer once in a while because it got just messed up with fragments of data. And the computer then took some time to organize all these fragments into nice, neat little packages. This doesn't exist anymore, I think, today, but it existed like in the late 90s, I think. So I think this is quite a nice analogy. How you can tidy up what you got, So take all these different fragments. So let's say you're in the bathroom and you see a couple of like toothpaste packs, and then you have like your storage room and there's a couple of toothpaste packs. One thing is to take everything that's the same and put it into one area. So that way you have everything in a bit more concise together. You have a better understanding of how much you have of it, and how much space you need to create for it. This is, by the way, one of these things. The trap that I stepped into as well was, for example, if you live in the British environment and you have all these 3-for-2 offers or 2-for-1 offers, you start buying more than you actually need. Obviously, you save a little bit of money in the long run, but you will have more stuff that takes up more space. So again, this is a conscious decision when you go into the pharmacy or any supermarket and you see these offers, really think about, did you come to just get one of these items, or did you really come to get 3 of these items or 2 of these items, right? It's a bit of a trap, and it's important to consider for yourself, are these 20 cents that you're saving on that really worth giving up more space in your place? Again, it's easier if you have a backpack, because then the question gets easier to answer. You go like, oh, I just do not have the space for 3 of these items, so I can only get one. It doesn't matter if it costs me 20 cents more, right? Totally depends on your situation. But I would suggest that you have a look at what defragmenting meant for the computer, and think about it, and just use all the different fragments of items that you have and move them into the same space. That way you will already see, it will be visualized how you can organize some of the stuff into one space, and then have it all a bit more orderly. And while you do that, you might already find you can throw some stuff away, but that can be very well the second step. Another way of getting started is getting an app. So I had an app, and unfortunately I do not remember what it was called. It was an app to create habits. And I know there's a lot of them out there. You can just do it yourself as well, with just setting some reminders. But it really helped me in this phase when I was in Ireland trying to get rid of some things, to get this process back moving, to get rid of things. So what this habit creating app basically did is, every single day it told you, okay, 10 minutes, go and declutter the bathroom. And the next day it was 10 minutes, go and declutter the living room, and so on and so forth. So it moved you through all the rooms that you have. Obviously you can add and remove some of the rooms if you don't have them. But this helped because it just gets into little chunks of work, right? It's just like, just to spend 10 minutes on it, and try in these 10 minutes really to at least throw one item away. If you don't want to get an app, you can just simply put reminders in your phone and just go, okay, Mondays, 10 minutes bathroom, Tuesdays, 10 minutes living room, and so on and so forth. And then just have a reminder, so that when you come back from work, or even do it before work, because that's a nice little win for the morning. It's a good morning routine to have and tidy up in the morning. Try to spend just 10 minutes and get rid of some stuff from each room. So it's really a nice way of trying to build a cycle that you stick to. And every single time, and I promise you, it's the weirdest thing. The next time you go and have your 10 minutes in the bathroom, you will find another item that you can get rid of, even though last week you decided not to throw it away. You might have thought about it for a week and then decided, actually, oh, I actually do not need it, so I can get rid of it, right? So having this kind of cycle that gives you a specific time per day, per room, is really, really helpful. So that's my I think this is the main advice I want to give you. If you haven't started a process like this definitely helps to get started. Okay, so the next advice is a little more counterintuitive, because in order to organize things, you have to have them tidy in a way. So a lot of people throw a lot of items into one drawer, for example, because they don't know where else to put it, right? Everybody has these random drawers with a bunch of stuff in it that doesn't make sense, and it shouldn't be in the one place. But then you take one item out and you have no clue where else to put it, because that's the drawer for the random stuff, right? So having these like random drawers doesn't help anybody. I mean, you can always go, if you're looking for something, oh, it's probably in the random drawer, right? And you go over there and start digging, and you probably find it. You might not. But think about everything that you own as taking up space in your brain. And I should have mentioned that earlier, but it's just now, it's really every single thing, every single item that you own and that you possess takes up space, not just in your place of living, but also in your brain. Imagine, like, think about like how many remote controls do you have at home? Right, you probably say like 3, 4, I don't know. And you think about the one that's not working because you don't have batteries. And it's something on your to-do list to buy batteries for that remote control. But you have decided to do a workaround, or maybe you have a multifunctional remote control, and this one is actually not even necessary anymore, but you don't want to throw it away because, it's still working. You just need to buy batteries for it. So I know that it sounds a bit strange, but this information is all stored in your head constantly. It's not like in the front of your head, but because then you just would go and buy the batteries, right? But it's still there. It's still in your head, and you're still having some efforts of your brain focused on this damn remote control without the batteries. So if you remove that from your life, that space in your brain is actually going to be freed up as well for something else. I have a quick example there. When I started doing the big decluttering when I was in Ireland again, the second time around, I had like a big chunk of stuff that I got rid of. I just brought it to like donation to charity shops and so on, and brought all the stuff away, came back home, and all of a sudden I felt the urge to call my brother and just ask him how he was. And that doesn't happen very often to me normally, but it was a very, very strange occurrence. And I actually watched myself behaving like this because it just meant I made space. You know, I made space in my head for something else that didn't have space to occupy before. So try it out, and you might find suddenly you feel the need of taking a course or learning a new skill or something, like, because your brain actually frees up space. It's crazy. It's true. And so now think back to this random drawer with all these little items, all these little things, and every single little rubber band that's in there, the safety pins, all this stuff takes up space in your brain. So the first thing you should do, which is again counterintuitive, get organizer boxes. And again, it depends a bit on what kind of stuff you're trying to declutter. It might be IKEA is really good for that. If you go to IKEA and just buy some organizer boxes, and if you have clothes and you get some of these cubes that you normally use for traveling, try and organize things into logical boxes. So first thing, really just sorting things. That's already a good start, because it takes all this mess that you see in that random drawer is basically in your brain. And once you order it, you suddenly know, oh, actually, I do know that I have 5 rubber bands. And it's a bit more of a clear information that is stored in your brain. Again, it sounds a bit crazy, but think back to the defragmentation, like having all these fragments everywhere and then putting them back into orderly little spaces is already a massive start. And then while you do that, you probably find a lot of things that you can actually throw away, actually can get rid of, maybe give to your neighbor, maybe give to a charity shop, you know, so that might already be the first step. And if that's too difficult to just get started on that random drawer, and I know this is like a horror for a lot of people to start working on something like that, go to this 10 minutes a day thing. If you only spend 10 minutes a day per week on that thing, it's fine. You know, at least you're making progress. You know, and if you at some point feel like 10 minutes is not enough, just make it 15, make it 20 minutes. Fine. You know, it's completely up to you. But creating this habit of every day getting rid of some stuff is very important. So then you have these empty boxes for organizing stuff. The next thing you need is big boxes for getting rid of stuff. And again, it sounds counterintuitive, but think about it. You take something out of like some kind of cupboard, an item that is in that cupboard or in this random drawer because you don't know where else to do it, and you know now you want to get rid of it, but you don't want to throw it away. That's easy, right? You just put it in the bin. But what if you want to give it to a charity shop? So you need to put that somewhere. And the logical thing, what most people then do, or the illogical thing, better say, they put it back in the drawer. Oh yeah, I'll give that to charity at some point. And you put it back in the drawer. So find a space in your place where you can have 3 big boxes. It can be only 2, but try and make it 3 big boxes that are visible to you at all times. And they have enough space. And then every day you do these 10 minutes and you find items that you want to sell or donate or gift, to friends, or to throw away. You put them into these boxes. So you have 1 box for things to sell, 1 box for things to donate or gift, and 1 box for the stuff to throw away. And then once a week, you just take those boxes and actually do what it says on them. If one says sell, you go sell them. If one says throw away, you go throw away. And so every week you should make some progress So, okay, I think this is a good start. I'm really looking forward. I'm hoping that I get some questions that in one of the next podcasts we can go more into detail, and because I know I'm just bombarding you with a lot of thoughts here and a lot of actions as well. But I think this is a great start. So, create a need for actually reducing your belongings, and then do the 10 minutes a day and have these boxes ready that you can actually put the stuff somewhere. Okay. Then just some random thoughts. This is one that doesn't really apply to a lot of people. But for example, a solution for me when it comes to clothes, because that was one question as well. What kind of clothes do you keep and all that? I mainly wear black clothes, so it makes things super easy. I have less options, and so less decisions, and it makes things easier. If you have too many options, too many decisions, it's the whole paradox of choice thing. You freeze, you can't really do anything. So keep your choices simple and straightforward. So in my case, I have black clothes, and for example, I have a couple of necklaces and different colored leggings that I wear with my black dresses. So every time I combine a black dress with leggings in a different color or a necklace, suddenly it looks like I have a different outfit on, although it's the same dress I'm wearing every week. I'm not wearing the same dress every day. It's just like I have basically about 14, 20 dresses that I rotate. And that's, again, this is actually still too many, but this is roughly what I do. I have like these dresses and I rotate them with leggings, different colors. And so that gives me a couple of options to look like I'm having different outfits on. Again, the whole black clothes thing isn't probably for everybody, but it's just a way for me how to do it. It wasn't a conscious decision either. It's something I started when I was a teenager. I started wearing black clothes, and it just developed into that. But yeah, keep in mind the analysis paralysis, which is the word when the paradox of choice knocks on the door, because you have too many things, too many decisions to make, and then you just freeze, and in the end you don't do anything. So it's this whole thing. You look into your wardrobe and go, you see all the clothes that are hanging there, and you think, I don't have anything to wear. And then you just rather go buy something new because you just can't make a decision, right? It is super interesting. So it's another thing where I would like to ask you, read up on it. The book Paradox of Choice is amazing for this as well. It is really something, if you understand the underlying psychological processes, it will help you then actually action some of these things. Another idea here is half empty bottles and tubes of stuff that you have in the bathroom or the storage room. A lot of people, and again, like I've been there, you have all these bottles and you think, no, but I paid money for it. I'm not using it, but I paid money for it and it's there, right? Think about what it actually means. It's like, did you pay €3 or $3 or something for this bottle of shampoo? And you know it makes your skin itch, but you don't want to throw it away because you spent €3 on it. It's not logical, right? And once you realize that, and they're like, just throw it away. Just take it and toss it away. It sounds wasteful, and I know it is, but this is just the first step. The next step will be just not to buy these things, right? But again, you don't have to necessarily throw it away. You can put it in the box for gifting it. So if you, for example, have a sister or a brother, or I don't know, who would like to have this shampoo, just give it to them. Say, listen, I only used it once or twice. Here you go. You can't give this to a charity shop, obviously. You can't sell it. So there you go. That's the other option. And if then your family member says, or your friend says, no, I don't really want this, then just throw it away. The next step then, and this is what I'm getting to before I'm getting into trouble when people telling me throw stuff away, obviously recycle it. Like maybe write on the box, throw away /recycle. I'm actually big on recycling, so I just didn't mention it at this point. Anyway, next step is not to buy more stuff, right? So the easiest way to actually reduce your stuff is not to buy more. And again, these are these constant decisions that you have to make, and really questioning your actions more. So as I said, with the empty bottles, for example, having this shampoo that that your skin doesn't really like, buy new stuff, buy better stuff, Buy the stuff that you know works, or get a test product somewhere and actually test it with your skin, and then buy that product. Don't keep them for whatever reason, because someday you might need it again. Buy it when you actually need it. And then when you need something and you go and buy something, buy quality. That's like the next thing. So for example, I have a personal example there as well. Back in the days when I had just the backpack, for example, I had one pair of jeans. I bought good Levi's jeans. But as soon as they were, what happens, like they rub through between the legs when you're not a skinny person. So suddenly there were holes between the legs, and then I was like, okay, I went to a tailor, and I just had it fixed up. And that held another couple months, but then I just had to make a decision and get rid of it. And I obviously went to the Levi's store, left the old ones there, got new ones right away, put them on, and left the store again. And I did exactly the same with boots. I had like really good leather boots from Marks and Spencer's. And once after a year, because I was wearing it almost every single day, when the soles were literally run through, my toes were sticking out at the bottom, I just went back to Marks and Spencer's, asked them if they had the same model. They did. So I bought those, left the old ones there, and left the store with those. I know this sounds super extreme, and it was extreme, but it felt so good. It felt absolutely amazing to just go in, exchange it for, because the product was good, it was quality, just get the same one again and leave. No decision made. And this is something I did now, because, for example, because I only wear dresses and have leggings underneath. So the leggings that I bought, there was a few in the past month that were bad quality. So they either ripped quite easily, or they didn't fit very well. And I got really annoyed about that, and I bought new ones. And again, it was bad quality because I just saved on that product, and it was not a good idea to do that. And then at some point, I just went to Lululemon and actually bought proper €100 leggings. And it's one pair, and this is what I'm basically wearing most of the days. It's something, obviously, it has to be washed often. Like, don't, like, all the stuff that I'm telling you, like just having that a lot of things, that is the other thing. You have to wash them more often, obviously, because you're wearing them more often, and that puts wear on them. That's why you want to have better quality, right? And then you don't have to buy more things, and you can focus on a few good quality items that you live with. Right, I hope that all made sense and doesn't make me sound like a hobo, but this is basically the next step. You reduce most of the things that you have, and then every time you need to buy something new, make sure it makes sense, that you really, really need it right now, and that it's quality and it will last a while, that you don't have to get rid of it too soon again. Okay, and then the next thing is Christmas, birthday presents. Just make your family and friends aware that you are decluttering, you're minimalizing, you're trying to make your life easier and more light, and you do not want any stuff. And this is normally the problem in birthdays and Christmas and so on. You do get stuff, right? People say, oh, but this is so pretty, I wanted you to have that, and it's nice. It is nice, thank you, but I don't want it, So I'm, again, at the point, my mom and dad understood it more or less, what I'm doing. So I always ask them right away, vouchers. If it's not money that you want to send because it's a bit too unpersonal, then vouchers. Like, for example, I live in Ireland, so Ryanair vouchers. So I can fly and travel more. So in that case, that makes sense. Or if you have a certain cinema that you like to go to, or a certain restaurant, ask your friends to send you vouchers for that, as a present. It's something that makes sense, that won't declutter, because it's experiences, and it enhances your life more than it takes something away by taking space away, right? So it is a process, because a lot of people don't understand it, and they still give you something and go, yeah, but it's only small. It's like, yeah, I still don't want it. So that happens to me as well. People go, oh, but look, it's only a small thing. Like, yeah, we'll give it away. Sorry. Like, I will not keep it. And it probably will hurt some people, but you just have to be very clear about it. Just please do not give me any material presents. Right. So this is basically all the stuff I wanted to tell you. And I was thinking of maybe at some later episode talk about digital declutter, because I'm doing that at the moment as well, meaning tidying up all the files that you got, all the photos, all the videos that you have on your computer, emails, saved emails, address books. It's a logical transition because, for example, paperwork, once you go through your actual physical declutter, you will have a lot of paperwork that you just keep pushing around, shoving around, putting it in different boxes, into different drawers. There are very simple ways of digitizing a lot of that and just have it in a digital way. But then obviously make sure that your digital life is in the same way minimalized and decluttered as well. So if you're interested in that, and please let me know, I can make this a topic of one of the future podcasts. So if you want to get in touch, I am working on my website right now. It's not finished yet, so you can't really send me anything there, but you can get in touch with me just via email. Make it niceandsunny@gmail.com. You do have my Instagram account, which is Christin Maschmann. It's not the nice and sunny one. I'm not really checking that anymore, so sorry about that. I will work on that as well. I have to tidy up this. See? Now I have to make an episode about social media declutter. So anyway, Facebook, Christin Maschmann. You have me on Twitter as Davina Dar, but if you type in Christin Maschmann, you find me as well. And then Instagram, Christin Maschmann. Just send me a message on either of those channels, and I will make sure to include that into my future podcast. So I would like to know from you any kind of stories, experiences, questions, suggestions about the minimalist lifestyle. I'm hoping to be able to talk about this a little more. And if these things made sense that I just told you, please try it out and let me know how you got on. And then let me know if you're interested in doing like a digital declutter episode in some point in the future. It's still a bit of time until I go traveling again, but I'm really, really looking forward to telling you stories from my travels around the world. So in the meantime, I hope to give you some advice to maybe get there as well. The minimalist life, the nomad life, and then the travel life, ultimately. So yes, I will just say thank you very much for listening. This was my very first podcast. I'd be very, very grateful if you give me some feedback on this. And hopefully you hear from me again in about 1 or 2 weeks with the next one. So thank you very much for listening, and I speak to you soon. Bye-bye.